Hello, I'm Charles Gross.
And I'm Leslie Hoban Blake. Welcome to Two on the Aisle. I haven't said that in 2 years, 2 months, and whatever. Oh, wow, that feels so good.
We are back on the aisle now.
On the aisle. And we were on the aisle for this show.
Yes, well, some of you may have seen Leslie's after comments when my daughter Miriam and I reviewed Company, but this will be the first Broadway review we have done since the pandemic closed down the theater. And this pandemic takes us back to this play, Plaza Suite, takes us back to the late 1960s when a token could get you on the subway, $1 was a big tip, and Neil Simon wrote funny plays, except when he didn't.
Well, it's interesting because the play is set very, very specifically in 1968. Or 1970. I think he goes between the two.
1968, 1969. Difference, Was
it only those 2 years? I thought, okay. In any case, a very different time. Neil Simon was a phenomenon in the 60s. He originally was on the Show of Shows. He wrote for Sid Caesar, and then he began to write plays of his own. And his plays were, for the most part, extraordinarily successful. Among them were Biloxi Blues, Brighton Beach Memoirs, Lost in Yonkers,
The Odd Couple,
the very first one I think was Barefoot in the Park.
Come Blow Your Horn, I think.
You're right, Come Blow Your Horn. He also did the book for Sweet Charity. So, a good writer, a really good writer when he was good. And when he was bad, he was horrid, as the old expression goes. So 3 playlets, all set in the same room, number 719 at the Plaza Suite. Very definitely set in 1968. They wisely did not try to modernize that, which is great.
And this just so that there is no mistake, this is the Plaza Hotel, Eloise's Plaza, although Eloise does not appear in the show.
Eloise's Plaza. And she just let the rest of us go have a drink in the lobby. That was, that was what that was. But here's the thing. The first play is very short. It's actually too long. It's very draggy. It's about a woman coming in from the suburbs to meet her husband, and she finds out he's having an affair. And I think overall, Sarah Jessica Parker did a nice job with her 3 women. But I think that Matthew Broderick is like stuck in aspic. I don't know what his problem is. The last 20 years, when he's had a role that was right for him, like the producers, he was great. And when he has a role that's wrong for him, it's embarrassing. It's like something they've taken out of a trunk and stood on the stage. And I feel terrible for him. I really do.
In this first act, it's a married couple. They're celebrating their anniversary in the room that they honeymooned in at the Plaza. And he comes in and he's very dry. It's kind of like Leo Bloom if he had never met Max Bialystock, I think. Or it could have been Rosemary and Finch from How to Succeed in Business, except that they wouldn't be celebrating their 23rd, or is it 24th? They kind of get a little confused, their anniversary. And she comes in and she's so animated, and most of the play, like the first third of the play, she's got the stage pretty much by herself, and she is wonderful.
Yeah, she fills the play. She really takes the stage.
He comes in, and in this one, he is just so dry and so wooden and so one-dimensional.
Now, wooden was the word I heard. I heard you saying wooden, and that was the word to look for. Wooden. He sucked the air out of the room, basically, is what he did. He came in and he sucked the air out of the room and out of her character, which is it's a reality factor. But in a comedy, even a comedy that has a sad ending, it's a bittersweet comedy. Even in that, you need a light touch.
This is what Neil Simon would try to write later on in his career, and I think he did it a lot more successfully. Say even in the Sunshine Boys, but also Biloxi Blues, not Biloxi Blues, I'm sorry, Broadway Bound,
and Lost in Yonkers both had that quality. And the second one is, and in here, I don't know how she did it, but they put Miss SJP in a long blonde wig, and she's in a room with her old boyfriend who's a Hollywood producer. Their age differential looked, instead of being together in school as they were supposed to be, he looked 30 years older than her, and it looked as if he was enticing a young high schooler because she looked so young. She looked unbelievably young. She looked 20, 22.
They went out together. They haven't seen each other in many years. She has been living, but she is married. She has a family. She's been living vicariously through him. He is a very successful Hollywood producer, but his personal life is disastrous. And throughout all that, there was one thing that I just couldn't get out of my head. She's coming from Tenafly, New Jersey to meet him. And she keeps saying, I took the Holland Tunnel. No one coming from Tenafly, New Jersey to Manhattan is going to take the Holland Tunnel. You're going to take the George Washington.
Maybe Neil Simon didn't drive, maybe Neil Simon didn't drive, but you're right. He should know things like that. So that's the second play. And it's the lascivious wolf and the woman, she's supposed to be a matron of at least over 35, and she looks about 20. I mean, that's great for her. She looked great, but it's a mistake in costuming. And I don't think he successfully didn't pull anything off because he's gotten paunchy and he can't hide that. She can make herself look heavier or lighter.
But that kind of, I think that kind of fit the character.
I could
definitely see him as paunchy, and he had the long hair, and
but he still looked much too old for her. Anyway, so that was that scene.
I think he did much better with that one. I didn't like the way it ended. Yes. Basically, they're running around the bed. It looks like they're going to have an affair, but then what's going to happen after that? It was a little too up in the air, but I think it was more interesting than the first one.
Definitely more interesting and certainly funnier.
Third act is two parents. They have a daughter who is locked in the bathroom, and she's supposed to be going downstairs to the green room, not the blue room, to get married. And
your wedding day.
It's her wedding day. They're desperately trying to get her out. I think this is the most shticky of the three playlets.
Absolutely.
There are the gestures and there's the thing. And I loved Sarah Jessica Parker in all three of them, and I loved her in this.
She did them all. But I just would have liked her to be a little more New Yorker in this one. She didn't play a New York accent, and she could have. I think this one called for a more of a New York accent, but that's just in my mind. Go ahead.
And I was watching Matthew Broderick, and he did, he gave a respectable performance, but I just kept thinking, team up Jackie Gleason and Audrey Meadows.
How about this? Think about this for a second. What about Sid Caesar and Imogene Coca?
Perfect.
I think that's what he had in mind when he wrote it. That's not what he got when these people did it. They went for the reality factor a little too much, and I know with the shtick on top. By the way, the director on the original one was Mike Nichols, and Mike Nichols and Maureen Stapleton both got Tony nominations for the show. In this instance, the director is an actor, John Benjamin Hickey, whom we've seen most recently in The Inheritance. We saw him in The Normal Heart. He's been all over Law and Order and other television shows. Wonderful actor, and obviously knows how a show should be put together. But is he a director for Neil Simon? I don't know. Is it the director's fault in this that it doesn't quite work? I don't know. I think it's the actors. I think it's a combination maybe of not being the right people in general for this. I do think that Sarah Jessica Parker pretty much carries it off.
I think you're half right. In that Sarah Jessica Parker, yes. Matthew Broderick, not so much.
As your daughter would say, meh. That's gonna be my new go-to word.
And this time we both agree with her.
Yes, but this is gonna be my homage to your daughter when I go, it's gonna be M standing for Miriam. Anyway, yeah, I was saddened about that because I did two Neil Simon plays, and when they're done right, even in summer stock, when they're done right, man, they are laugh riots.
Neil Simon remains one of the great playwrights of the 20th century, period.
I once said, before I was an active critic, I said that to me, Neil Simon was the Shakespeare of our time. And somebody went, oh, how could you say that? And I said, because He's the most prolific writer. I don't know any other writer, and that includes O'Neill and Arthur Miller, who wrote this many plays, of which so many were hits.
Plaza Suite is an all right play. I don't think it's anywhere near his best. Neil Simon at his best. And as for this production, I would give it, I think, 3 playbills.
Oh, that is generous. Okay, for
It is. It is. But I
well,
really
that's like 1 point apiece. I would give it that way. I would go 1 point apiece, a total of 3. I would do that.
Okay. And that is our show for this evening. And when you go to the theater, we're back. So look for us too.
Look for us, both of us, not necessarily sitting together, but, but we're there on the aisle.